Hey everybody, how is everyone doing today? Good. Welcome to the White House. My name is Liza Heyman, and I have the great honor of running our Champions of Change program. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for being here, especially the folks who traveled, people who are joining us on the live stream, as we celebrate the innovative and inspirational individuals like our Champions of Change, who are here with us today and are leading the way for veteran entrepreneurs in this country. We've heard the president say time and time again, the best ideas don't come from Washington, they come from outside Washington. And that's why in 2011, right after his State of the Union address, the president asked that we start this program. Champions of Change celebrates community heroes who are driving change at the local level. So that's why we're here today. I really encourage everyone here to help us lift these stories. These are incredible champions, and we want to make sure that everyone here is receiving the recognition that they deserve. Please tweet, Instagram, use your social media of choice using the hashtag WHChamps. I also want to just give a quick plug and remind you all this event is live streamed. And by accepting the invitation to attend today, you will be giving us your permission just to be filmed and be on camera as a part of ABC's Shark Tank, which, by the way, we are very, very excited about. Just a round of applause for ABC and everything that you guys have done to make this event happen. Thank you. So I now have the distinct honor of introducing one of our champions, Ms. Sandra Gonzalez. Sandra is a former Army nurse and has been a military spouse for 20 years. She's also the president and founder of doCERRI e-Learning Solutions, which is an educational consulting firm in Southwest Oklahoma. Inspired by a child with learning needs, doCERRI works to help families with struggling learners. Sandra is also one of the founding members of the SOAR mentoring program. It's an online international community for women entrepreneurs and military families. And with all of that, she's managed to be here today and fly out and join us for this incredible event. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming Sandra Gonzalez. Thank you.
Associate Administrator Jepson, guests, Champions of Change awardees, and family and friends. Good afternoon. My name is Sandra Gonzalez, and it is a pleasure to be here today at the Veteran Entrepreneurs Champions of Change event. I think I speak on behalf of my fellow awardees when I say how honored we are to be here at the White House. I was an Army nurse. I am a military spouse. I am the mother of 6, and for the past 9 years, I've been a home educator. I became an entrepreneur almost 2 years ago after I had trouble finding a job that gave me the flexibility that I needed to raise a military family. Like many military spouses, I was overqualified and underemployed. It was then that I took a long, hard look at entrepreneurship. A good friend told me about VWise, a 3-day conference hosted by the Small Business Administration and the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, or IVMF for short. It teaches veteran women and military families how to start or grow their own businesses. So I convinced my friend to come with me to this conference, and it was there that I saw how entrepreneurship could provide a viable career path. I brought home a flyer from that event that talked about an entrepreneurship boot camp for disabled veterans and their families, and I showed it to my husband. He took a good look at it, and he said, "It's free. You're going." So 2 months later, I found myself at Syracuse University for the Entrepreneurship Boot Camp for Veterans Families, also known as EBVF. So during those 8 days, I received a world-class business education that felt like the equivalent of a mini MBA. More importantly, that boot camp helped me to develop the foundation of a solid business plan, as well as an amazing network of like-minded veteran entrepreneurs, as well as supporters of the military community. So a few months later, when I was ready to finally finish writing my business plan so that I could enter business plan competitions, I knew I needed more help. So I enrolled in Operation Boots to Business, an 8-week online course that is designed to teach the basics of entrepreneurship. This program helped me break down the task of writing a comprehensive business plan into smaller, more manageable steps. Little did I know how well those 8 weeks would prepare me for winning 2 national business plan competitions in less than 4 months. I ended up winning a total of $50,000 in seed capital that really helped me to jumpstart my business. I cannot even begin to express my gratitude to the Small Business Administration, to the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, and most especially my business counselors through the Small Business Development Center in Lawton, Oklahoma. The incredible training and support I have received over the past 2 years have opened many, many doors for me, and I sincerely hope they do the same for other aspiring veteran entrepreneurs. As I travel around the world, now as an instructor for Boots to Business, I see the impact that these programs have in changing the lives of our transitioning service members and their families worldwide. May those who support programs such as VWise, EBV, EBVF, and especially Boots to Business know that there is no better investment than our military community. Not only do you give us the opportunity to pursue the American dream of business ownership, you allow us to continue a legacy of service from the battlefield to the home front, and now to the economic stage, as small businesses account for the majority of job creation in this country. Public-private partnerships, like the one between SBA and IVMF, and the many corporate sponsorships can empower Americans to start their own businesses to help boost the economy. Now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Associate Administrator for Veterans Business Development of the U.S. Small Business Administration, the Honorable Rhett Jepson. Mr. Jepson served his country valiantly in Afghanistan as a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, but is now on the front lines here at home, fighting to provide greater opportunities for our nation's veterans. Beyond his distinguished military service, he ran a small family business in Florida and eventually became the Director of State Purchasing for the state of Florida. I don't think there's a more qualified and understanding person out there to help ensure that our veterans are receiving the opportunities that they deserve. More importantly, Mr. Jepson is now a Blue Star dad whose daughter Heidi finished Marine Corps basic training just a few months ago and is now stationed with the Marine Intel Support Battalion at Quantico, Virginia. I'm sure he is extremely proud of her accomplishments as she continues the rich military tradition of the Jepson family. I can think of no one better to speak to us this afternoon than this true advocate for the military community. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Rhett Jepson.
Wow. Good afternoon, and Sandra, thank you for those kind introductory remarks. I appreciate that. As a mother of 6, a veteran and a successful entrepreneur, your story reminds us all of what is possible when you have military discipline coupled with determination to bring your dreams to life. Your pathway highlights the great work we can do together through SBA training. Programs like VWise and Boots to Business provide great opportunity for our service members. I want to take just a moment to give a few specific thanks. First to my boss, Maria Contreras-Sweet, the administrator of the Small Business Administration. She's currently in California, where earlier this week she joined women veteran entrepreneurs in a hackathon hosted by Facebook and Vets in Tech. Secondly, I'd like to thank Robert Hervachik, excuse me, sir, Damon Johns and Kevin Leary, and a special thanks to Samir Aziz and the entire ABC team from Shark Tank. Congratulations on your Emmy win this week. Liz Heyman from the head of Champions of Change program and the Office of Public Engagement. Colonel Steve Parker, Director of the Joining Forces, an initiative of First Lady Michelle Biden and an initiative of the First Lady Michelle Obama and Dr. Biden, which they started to showcase their appreciation for veterans and their concern for military families who do so much for our country. Dr. Mike Haney and his team from the Institute of Veterans and Military Families at Syracuse University. IVMF has been a leader in ensuring that our nation's veterans have the success to higher education and training opportunities they deserve. Finally, I want to thank all of you for being here to honor and celebrate the impressive work of the 12 dedicated and accomplished veterans and Americans who do so much to support our entrepreneurs. From the cities and states across the country, these men and women are among the best our nation has to offer. They are our champions and our small business owner, veteran entrepreneurs who continue to serve our country by creating jobs and spurring economic growth. They possess the skills, discipline, and leadership necessary to kickstart and operate successful small businesses. In fact, veteran entrepreneurs are responsible for nearly 1 out of 10 small businesses. They generate over $1.5 trillion in receipts every year and employ nearly 6 million workers. As more than 1 million servicemen and women in their service careers over the next 5 years and transition back to civilian life, veteran business owners will play a critical role in creating economic opportunity for the entire nation. That is why we are doing everything in our power to support veteran entrepreneurs. Last year alone, SBA guaranteed more than $1 billion in loans to more than 2,400 veteran-owned small businesses. This year, SBA is beginning to build upon our success of Boots to Business, an entrepreneurship training program that has already trained more than 1,600 transitioning service members and will train an additional 1,200 to 1,500 participants this year alone. It is something I wish I had when I was a small business owner several years ago. We must also continue to create meaningful partnerships to uplift and promote the extraordinary work of our veteran entrepreneurs. For example, today's partnership with ABC Shark Tank allows us to share the stories of these and veterans and other entrepreneurs across America to millions of Americans. Supporting veteran entrepreneurship is not just the right thing for us to do, it's the right thing to do for our nation. The most important role this group provides, however, is that of role model. As new veteran-owned small businesses begin their journey, their founders will look to acquire the knowledge and skills needed to be successful. It is the role of men and women like these standing with me here today to truly be champions for the veteran entrepreneurs, for the veteran entrepreneur community, and lead by example. Thank you for joining us again today, and congratulations to our champions for their incredible work.
So I'm just going to call each of the champs by name and ask you guys to stand as I call your name. Can we have James Allen from Kansas City, Colin and Karen Archiplay, Micheline Bigman, Adriana Domingos Lufer, Franz Fortune, Sandra Gonzalez, Jake Harriman, Louisa Long Jaffe, Kevin Jennings, Dr. Stephanie Parson, Matt Victoriano. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for our champions. I would now like to invite Barbara Carson, Deputy Associate Administrator of the Small Business Association, and our first panel up into the stage, please.
I'm so glad that we can be here today to celebrate our Champions of Change, and I'm really honored to be able to share this time with you. You're not going to believe their stories, and I'm glad I get to be a part of helping you tell them. So I am Barb Carson. I am still serving in the Air Force Reserve, 22 years now, also married to an active duty pilot who's going to leave for a year at the end of this month. So I'm very also gratified that my personal and professional interests can come together here, where I'm trying to make things easier for you, spouses, and military members who continue to serve. My background is nuclear command and control and public affairs, and I come from 3 generations of entrepreneurs and military veterans. And you wouldn't think, many of you, that those things go together, but I can't tell you there are not better entrepreneurs than those in the military. We will do seemingly impossible things to achieve an objective, and that's exactly what an entrepreneur needs, and that's why we are so successful at this endeavor. My small business ownership endeavor wasn't as long-lasting as I had hoped. It was in Okinawa, Japan, and my husband moved us much sooner than I had hoped he would. But you have great stories, and you have enduring stories, and so I want you to share how you did that. So the format we're going to use today is to introduce yourselves, please, for a couple minutes, and then we will have a discussion, and can't wait to hear more about you. We're going to start with Archiplay family.
So my name's Colin Archplay, and my wife and I co-founded Archie's Acres, which is it's a for-profit farm syndicate. So we grow organic, locally produced produce for companies like Whole Foods and the like. The key is we do it sustainably using soilless agricultural systems within controlled environments. So we have a 1-acre greenhouse model, extremely profitable, and put a lot of bets to work, and that's the goal and dream behind this, as well as provide a return to our investors and continue to grow the model, as well as continue to provide more jobs and entrepreneurial opportunities for veterans and upward mobility in the private sector.
So my name is Karen Archplay, and thank you for having us today. Thanks for this opportunity. We also, part of our farm is Archie's Acres, and then we're also the home of the Veterans Sustainable Agriculture Training Program. And at the VSAT is what we call it. We actually transition active duty as well as veterans into sustainable organic agriculture as a career. And our hope is to reinvigorate the family farm across America.
Kevin?
Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. Kevin Jennings, President and CEO of Millennium Corporation, service-disabled veteran-owned business, as well as an 8-8 company. We're a professional services company that provides cybersecurity, logistics, system engineering, as well as Lean Six Sigma to our clients. My business partner and myself started the company back in 2004, and I think my story is similar to most of the folks. We loved our services. We loved what we were doing while we were in the military. And we had that strong desire, both of us being entrepreneur spirit, we had that strong desire to continue to serve and continue to support the warfighter. So our story was, let's go and try it. We're both risk takers, and we started Millennium 10 years ago this year. And it's certainly been a good ride for us, and we've grown the company pretty well. What this award has done for us, this recognition, has kind of validated our philosophy. And that philosophy is we've been doing some things right, and one of the things we've been doing right is hiring veterans. You know, we bring a good percentage of our 160 folks into the company are retired or military veterans. And I don't have any research that tells me different, but they come with a focus that a lot of my other folks don't have, and it's been a win for our clients and a win for me, and that's been our philosophy and success. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Micheline?
My name is Micheline Bigman. I'm president and founder of Native American Women Warriors. We originally started as the first all-female Native American color guard. We're well known for being in the presidential inauguration parade in 2013 because our color guard is unique. We're actually in Ojibwe jingle dresses, which stands for, it's a prayer dress and a dance of healing. So our focus was, healing for our veterans, especially our Native Americans, because we're really not the mainstream America. So, and not only that, we embarked on going nonprofit to kind of gear our processes to helping our Native American women veterans. Being a female veteran and served over 20 years in the military, being a combat veteran, we just weren't getting the recognition. And then amongst our own, it was even that much harder. But there is some Native American women that really needed a lot of, not only the recognition, but also the help. And that's what our organization is about.
Thanks, Micheline. Jake?
Hi, my name is Jake Harriman, and in my old life I had the privilege of serving with Marines of 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, and 1st Force Recon Company. And it was during my time in combat that I had my eyes really awakened through some really intense experiences about the connection between people in very desperate situations that are created through extreme poverty and the proliferation of things like terrorism, insurgency, and general global instability. And once I had this kind of awakening, I decided that perhaps I needed to get out of the Marine Corps and help attack the problem from a different angle, from a different flank, by launching an organization and a company to help rid the world of extreme poverty. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I quickly realized I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't a development economist. I wasn't an international development expert. So I spent about 1.5 years researching the problem to try to learn from other good organizations. and then decided to go to Stanford Business School to build this company that could change the way the world fights extreme poverty. We launched our pilot project in Kenya in 2008, and since that time we've grown to impact over 35,000 people, lifting them out of extreme poverty permanently. And it's basically an approach that focuses on empowering local leaders from that nation to be able to design world-class solutions to fight poverty in their villages, in their communities, and then scale them in a sustainable way so that their families will never go back down in poverty again. And by doing this, I think we can build an effective nation-building platform to rid the world of some of the desperation that proliferates terrorism and insurgency and just general instability.
Thanks, Jake.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Parson with Crowned Grace International. And before I introduce the company, I definitely want to say thank you to all the veterans that are in the room, those that are online, because as vets, we know that we are the first to, and you fill in the blank. So thank you for those who have served, who are serving, and who will serve. Again, I'm with Crowned Grace International, and our focus is all about linking leaders to business results. And we do this through helping organizations understand their strategy, understand their customer, and then provide the solution, whether that's strategic planning, organizational development, IT governance, cyberspace, security, whatever that solution is, we bring the talent to do that. Now, the reason that we can brag about what we do is simply because we've been there and we've done that. We've done it both in the military as well as in the private sector. And I just have to do another shout out to my leadership team because they're in the room with me as well, and that's what we do.
Thank you. Fantastic. We're going to dig a little deeper and talk about what got you here and what can we do to further the work that you are doing. So we're going to start with Archie's Acres. They are filling a fantastic, what we identified as a gap, and that is that as service members leave the service, they're coming home to potentially a tough economy for certain, especially for the combat arms. So if you've been doing something that absolutely you have been trained very well, obviously intelligent, and you have a lot of drive, what does that translate to? And what I love about Archie's Acres is that you are taking people before they even have left active duty through the Department of Defense Skill Bridge and training them. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works with a veteran? Because I love the aspect that you are teaching people to fish. They can do it for themselves once they're done being with you.
Yeah, we thought agriculture was a natural fit for a lot of vets, especially those in combat arms, that riflemen or where the case may be, where the skills don't necessarily translate well within the private sector. We think agriculture is a good fit. You know, the reason why I joined the Marine Corps is because I love being outside, doing physically active stuff. And so that's why I love agriculture. And particularly on the organic side, with a 14% compounded annual growth rate, there's plenty of room for growth, and there's continue less and less producers within this space. And that's where the veteran pieces fit in, with a 15% plus unemployment rate depending. We wanted to reach out to the military community because our heart was with it when we built this company, and we were somewhat successful and potentially be the largest agricultural veteran employer in the United States. I mean, that's our long-term goal. So we teamed up this last year with Cal Poly and Pomona as an outstanding agricultural program, created a 6-week entrepreneurial incubator program focusing on agribusiness. And so some active duty veterans and even folks from the general public come and train with us for 6 weeks, 40 plus hours per week. At the end of it, they leave with 17 transferable credits as well as a whole slew of certificates, and we have a team to help them with either job placement or build out their businesses. We work very closely with the Farm Service Agency, which is the USDA lender, to facilitate some of those lending opportunities and make it a reality. And the exciting thing about us is when we help create these businesses or we create jobs within our own business, in the agriculture community, every job you create on the farm creates nearly 3 jobs off the farm. So it's a huge quantifying effect. So for the next year and a half, we hope to grow substantially. And our own payroll will be about $2.2 million in annual payouts, which means when it hits the community and that money's spent, with just a small company of about $7.5 million in gross revenue, if we hit our targets, we're going to have nearly a $7 million impact just within these few communities, and that's pretty exciting for us.
Absolutely.
And regarding the Skill Bridge, we're very fortunate to have met Frank DiGiovanni, who embraced our program, really kind of screened us on what we were doing and why we were doing it, and really has kind of paved the way for us to be able, for our active duty, to have the information about our program, and that's really important because you can be a diamond, but if no one knows it, then it's tough to reach that audience. So we've been really fortunate. Camp Pendleton, as well as Miramar Marine Base, has embraced our program, and we've been very actively involved with the transition readiness seminars for the last 5 years. And by the way, we started this in 2007.
I'm really grateful, Karen and Colin. Thank you for sharing that, because you really are blazing the path forward so that other companies can do something like this. You're showing them how to get it done. And congratulations on your success thus
Yeah,
far.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kevin, you brought up opening the tent is kind of what I thought of when I heard you talking about how vets hire other vets. So even if you're not a small business anymore, and many of you out there might be able to hire vets, there are so many different ways to do it. It could be just one. You could be a part of a supply chain diversity effort where veterans are coming through the pipeline, so keep that in mind. But can you talk to us about what your experience has been as you grow and how you continue to look out for vets?
Yes, for Millennium Corporation, what we do as a business, in most cases, we're partnered with the Department of Defense. And in a lot of cases, we're in a program shop or PEO shop. And there's some unique skills that come along with that. And those skills are usually the folks who've been in the military or who've been in that DoD environment. We make a huge push each year to go out and find the veterans because we've seen the payoff. That those veterans come in and they're mission focused. They have that entrepreneur spirit that we have, and we see that in them. And it's all about accomplishing the mission. And when you get a team of veterans and they know other veterans and they bring those in, it becomes a win-win, not just for the company, but for our clients. It becomes a win for the team they're on. They have that camaraderie, and they've kind of learned that over the years. Even if they've only been in 3 years, or some come and join us with 30-plus years of experience. And those teams are usually your strongest, and there's always a network of folks that we can go back and reach out and get, and that's made Millennium successful.
Thanks for sharing that, showing how vet hires can make you an economic powerhouse. I'm glad for your success as well.
Thank you.
Micheline, you and I had a chance to talk briefly about the shared experience of being women veterans, and there are some women from earlier eras who just have put that away. They don't really identify with being a veteran anymore. That was a time in life, and often the public doesn't see them. If you're standing next to a gentleman, they're going to assume, if you're at a veteran event, that it's him. And so it's hard sometimes to raise your hand and say, no, I serve too. And I'd love for you to talk about how you get Native American women to identify as veterans and to reclaim that part of their identity, and what you're doing with that once they do raise their hand.
What I have done was, when I originally started the Color Guard, is I designed some jingle dresses. And with that, we put on our branch of service, our service stripes, our rank, and if they were combat patches, something to kind of like, okay, we donned the uniform at one time, now we're donning a different type, and it's all about our Native spirit, because a warrior spirit never dies. And Native American Women Warriors isn't all volunteer, so, I mean, trying to get the ladies interested at first, because for so many times it's been like, it has always been about the men. But now, I've always been one to kind of step outside the box, and I'm very boisterous. I'm like, no, because I served, and I have sisters that have served as well. So we've got ladies from all different, matter of fact, from all of the branches of service, from Marines, Air Force, Navy, Army, and I know we have a lady from the, what is that other one? I forgot. But from all the other services, yeah. We're all there. But, I mean, it's been challenging. We're in our infancy stage, but I think the minute they're out of the boots and back into the Native American regalia, and once they put on that jingle dress, it seemed like they're somebody. And then from there, they want to join. Okay, what's our next event? What can we do? What can we do to help? So we get a lot of talent. I mean, I tell them, we are nonprofit, so you don't always have to color guard, but you could also help in other aspects. So we have a lot of talented, like you say, the veterans that, come out of the military and transitioning and stuff. They have a lot of talent and skills, and that's what we use. And the thing of it is, it falls under the Native American aspect.
Thanks for sharing that. And as an aside, I would say, please check out the Veteran Women Igniting the Spirit of Entrepreneurship, which Sandra mentioned. When you get women veterans together, there is not a safer place to be or a more powerful place to be. And there is some of the best examples of peer mentorship that I've ever seen. So I'm glad that we have that gift for ourselves. Men, maybe you'll find something just as good for you. It's good stuff. So Jake, I really wanted to hear more about when you said there were different ways to come at this problem of extreme poverty, and you had seen the aggressive, the fight. Is there a common thread, though, between what you learned in the military to the way that you do your work now?
Absolutely. I think at the end of the day, it's all about leadership. I think, my whole adult life has been about leadership, and I made so many mistakes as a leader, kind of growing up and learning from other leaders. But because we've made so many mistakes, I'll speak for myself. I've made so many mistakes as a leader. I've learned a lot, and as a veteran entrepreneur, I can apply those lessons in what we're doing. On the ground, I found that, our whole philosophy in the work that I do in empowering people out of poverty is that the best approach to fighting poverty is, you take a strong Ethiopian woman who has the same skill set, same experiences, same knowledge that I have, and you equip her with the right skills. She's far more capable of designing world-class poverty-fighting solutions than I will ever be. And so what we try to do is unlock that potential in her and train and equip her as a leader to realize the potential that she has and other leaders in her nation to really own that nation back again, to lift her communities out of poverty. I think it's all about leadership, and really untapping that leadership potential. And that applies to us here in our society here in the U.S. as well. Unlocking the potential of local leaders, I think, is the key to ending a lot of the injustices in our world today.
Thanks for sharing that. I especially enjoy that you used a woman as an example in Ethiopia. It really is, it's universal. Thanks, Jake.
Sure.
Stephanie, you and I had a brief moment to talk before we started, and I was going to follow the same, what served you in the past and brought you forward. But you have a couple of aspects I hope you'll tie in, both being a woman leader, and also you had a really interesting active duty career you took a strong pivot in a different direction in your commercial success. So I think that's another hallmark of veteran entrepreneurs, is taking something that doesn't really have a place out in the world, but you're extremely successful at it. Could you talk about that?
Sure. Just a little bit about my history. So I was an Air Force commissioned officer, you can tell by the blue glow. At the point where I had to make a determination between accepting the rank of major, I was being recruited by a Fortune 50 company. My background is technology, and of course I went with the Fortune 50 company because I compared the salary of a general officer to what they were offering, and I said, okay. And then after that, I continued to go down that track of being an executive at various Fortune 50 companies. At one point in time, however, I said, what is it that I'm going to do with the rest of my life? Because we know that we have what you did in college, then your career, and then what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And so the leadership team and I gathered together and we said, one of the things that we really do well is helping organizations succeed or implement their strategic plan. Not necessarily define it for them, but help them put a view to it, a feel to it, as well as an emotional connection. Because believe it or not, everybody goes through strategic planning processes, but as soon as you get back to your office, you go back to the normal day-to-day operations. And so the way that we do strategic planning is to create an emotional tie, and I actually learned that by being a vice president at the world's largest entertainment location in the world, won't mention it. But it's those types of skills that you get from everyday moments in your life. If you're not learning something new every single day from every single person that you meet, you're missing out. You're missing out on taking your organization from ordinary to extraordinary. And that's what we focus on. I hope that answered your question.
I love that.
Okay,
I
good.
absolutely do. So I would love to see if there's anything else that I've missed that you want to bring up before we turn it over to the next part of our program.
Well, I feel like I should say something, but I just want to add one thing to Jake here, because I'm another 3-1 Marine, and we're slowly taking over the private sector. But I couldn't agree more on the leadership side. I think that's where the military can be such a role on the entrepreneurial side, And again, what Kevin was saying about that mission focus, with strong leadership, we lack that when we separate from the military. What is getting us out of bed every day? We know what it is in the military. You have orders, you're part of something greater. You don't necessarily have that when you separate and you're just going through the motions, so to speak. And that's where entrepreneurship comes in, because it allows you to create something larger than yourself, create jobs, have impact in communities, and do all those other things. And it really does start with leadership. And I think we need to encourage transitioning veterans to not drop that part of themselves just because you're out of uniform. You're still a servant of your community. We all need to pay taxes to keep our military healthy and so forth. And it's small business is the driver of that. And to be a steward in the community, a small business, and avoid that Burger King tax break and moving out of the States when you hit big, whatever the case may be.
That's a good one. Okay, so while, moving on. Colin, I think that hopefully they heard what I heard, which is, no, not that part. That I'm glad you can be here to celebrate and witness this success, but I hope you're feeling a call to action and you are wondering what you can do. What part are you going to play in continuing veteran entrepreneur and small business success? So please think about that, and thanks for sharing your time with us, and congratulations to you. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you.